everybody? My name is Russ. That is Lauren, and welcome to our discussion video where we talk through different things that we love about music. It's crazy, but we try and do this thing on the internet where we put out stuff that is positive. And we do a series. I think this probably is my favorite series. And it's funny because I do try and focus on like more and more new artists. Like I don't think you and I ever like are, we don't ever want to not hear new artists, but like these days, we were just talking the other day, it's the market is really like diluted. And it's harder now, I think, to sift through things than before. But I also think that if you're a younger person today, there's so many like legacy acts, and you kind of don't know where to start with them either. And songs that get streamed the most are not necessarily like the best songs or the best examples of artists either, right? So that's one of the reasons why I love this series, because if you're a Def Leppard fan and you clicked on this and you're like, you know, like, what is this all about? The idea here for a tenured Def Leppard fan, the idea is like, what do you think of my picks? You know, if you're a younger person and you don't know Def Leppard all that well, like these are the first 5 songs I would tell you to run and listen to, because I feel like if you hear these 5 songs, there's a lot more Def Leppard that you're going to love. And I feel like if you hear these 5 songs and not even once do you like something here, then like you can kind of call it quits, you know? And that's not saying so like, I love all these songs. So, so if you are a Def Leppard fan watching this, like, let me know that the biggest thing I love about these videos, this 5 songs to start with, is because everybody has a different perspective on this. Like for sure, I know for a fact, we have not discussed this at all. And I know for a fact that if you and I, just at a glance, you looking at my list before I even talk about it, we probably match up on like 1 or 2.
Yes, my list would be different.
Right. You know what I mean? And I love that. So having said that, if someone said to me, I've never heard Def Leppard's music at all, where do you think I should start? Me personally, I would literally make a playlist of these 5 songs and go, to me, this showcases everything great about Def Leppard. And if you listen to this and you go, dude, then you're going to love everything from them, in my opinion. Number 1, and it's funny because this is literally the first song I ever heard by Def Leppard. And I don't know. I feel like I'm the only person on earth who this is my favorite Def Leppard song. And I feel like I'm the only person. It's Rock of Ages. I don't know why. I know some of which, like I was a kid when this came out. I was probably 7 when this came out, 7 or 8. Look, as far as the video goes, you got, people roaming around with like druids and swords and stuff. Like I'm in, you know what I mean?
Sign
like,
me up.
Show me more of that, you know? But from a song standpoint though, cause it is about song, there's so much going on in this song that like would get, elaborated on later in Def Leppard's career that I think a lot of people, look over. Like there's a heavy keys in it that a lot of people don't. Of course, Savage is playing bass on it, but there's a lot of like synth bass on this cut too. I love the drum intro on this. I mean, obviously the which I ever since I was a little kid, I thought was the coolest intro. And we try and keep things as positive as possible, but if I have been in the same room with him before. If I'm ever in the same room again with the guy from The Offspring, I'm going to punch him in the face because I cannot stand that they use that. And just get your own thing, dude.
I know, and then you just get disappointed.
It just makes me so mad.
Yeah.
Like I was, to be clear, I was in the same room with the guy from The Offspring before that song came out. After it came out, I've been makes me so like get your own thing, dude. But that like right after that famous intro, I love that drum intro. I can like barely hold my own on the drums, and my brain doesn't work. I can't do the off time on that. Like that, some drummer tell me what the timing on that is. I don't know. There's like a thing where it's not a straight beat. He's like missing a beat or something.
There's a lot of syncopation happening.
Words. I don't know.
I like that word.
Let's see. We've talked about this. I don't want the it's fine knowing the word, but like I'd rather never be able to do it myself. You know,
yeah,
I'd rather it be a magic trick.
It's magic.
You know, but it was just all the way across the board. And then like the lyrics, a lot of Def Leppard lyrics, and especially on the song I'm going to cover after this, are gibberish. You know, like Def Leppard has never been like, and so our next album is called Solving the World's Problems. You know, like Def Leppard is just like, here's some great pop rock music, you know? And I don't think when they did this, I don't think like at any point there in Rock of Ages, like I don't think anyone's ever looked at this and been like, oh, there's a super deep meaning. But like when you hear it, you're just like,
well, yes.
The point of the song is to get your fist pumping, and boy, does it.
Yes. So full disclosure,
Hey, God, I know you have. I was waiting for you to for the shock of it to be like, I've never heard this song.
No. So I'd mentioned it on this channel before, I believe. In a prior life, I was like this actual life, but like previously in it, I was a church organist.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh boy, yeah.
The Lutherans have a song called Rock of Ages.
Okay, which by the way, I didn't know about till I was like 14.
Yeah. So be me. Every time the church decides that, Rock of Ages is one of our hymns this week. And I'm like, are you sure?
Do you know
are you sure? Do you want me to do it? Do you want me to do it? I can't even tell you.
Do you know how much money I would have paid for you to be like up there and just be like, rise up, gather round, and like just do I know.
No, I totally played around the
I know,
melody, but nobody knew.
lyrics,
Nobody knew, and so I did it.
I know, but I'm saying I would have loved it if you would have done the lyrics.
That's a bridge too far, I think. But what I will say is the fact that Rock of Ages has the same name as a hymn says something. You know what I mean?
I think that's what it was named. I think it was named that way on purpose.
For sure. And so it's just really
But
reverent.
I also like that they actually say Rock of Ages in it. Like when I was a little kid, I didn't catch that at first. And then years later, like when they get to the Rock of Ages, well, I was like, oh, they do say it. You know what I mean? There's some songs where they don't. Not them, but other people do. The next song up, I mean, I don't know anybody that this wouldn't be on your list. Pour Some Sugar on Me. Now, me personally, I think the intro on the video version is far better. That's funny. This is definitely there's an argument to be made for either version. If you're a longtime Def Leppard fan, you probably know what I'm talking about. But if you listen to the version that's on the album, it goes step inside, walk this way, you and me, and then right. Yeah. The music video had a much cooler remix.
Love it like a bomb.
Yeah, but whatever. And that was released as a single as well. And then to my knowledge, the Def Leppard fans, correct me if I'm wrong, the only commercial release of it as part of an album is what I think is a fantastic Def Leppard hits package called The Vault.
I like
the version of Pour Some Sugar on Me that's on there is that version. And I think the song's identical after that intro, but damn, that intro is rad as hell. But anyways, again, we were talking earlier, like, no one on earth cares. Like, I know people that are like, did you know that's all just gibberish? And who cares? I don't care. No one cares. The riff is incredible. The production, of course, I mean, you can't, I mean, what are you going to do? The Def Leppard production is incredible. Again, like this is, I know it's the album after it, but it's also 4 years later. Like everything about this is like Rock of Ages, but like 10 more layers, in a good way. It's just everything about this song like is so catchy. I mean, it's the reason it's launched 1,000 private dances, if you know what I mean. It has been played at every party bus in, like, while you're watching this video, there's a party bus in Las Vegas. Well, there's several party buses in Las Vegas where it's being played. There's probably a pedal pub in your neighborhood, in your city, where it's being played right now. Someone in your town is partying right now and the song is being played. Like, it's just such a jam. And popularity is not the thing that makes it go, oh, well, you should hear that. This is a great example of like the Hysteria record is 12 tracks long, 11 or 12. And there's a couple ballads on there, but outside of that, like, a lot of the songs on Hysteria have this groove, and a lot of Adrenalize has it too. So it's like, this is very much like it. What I say is, if you like this, there's so much more that you're going to like from that whole era of Def Leppard. So, the next one I think personally is one of the most underrated Def Leppard songs that there is. And for me, I don't mind their earlier ballads, but Love and Affection, because I love that one. But When Love and Hate Collide, I think is an insanely underrated Def Leppard song. And I also think, for me, I think it's their best ballad to showcase what they do with ballads.
Yeah.
I'm not discounting Bringing On the Heartbreak. Well, like Bringing On the Heartbreak, Foolin', Too Late for Love. I've like argued with people that there are slow parts to those songs, but I don't even count those as ballads.
Love Bites.
Bringing On the Heartbreak. I'm working from the first two records.
Oh, sorry.
But like Bringing On the Heartbreak, like kind of, but again, That's probably the most ballady of the ones that I mentioned. But like, okay, so on Hysteria, for sure, all day. Love Bites, I would give you as a ballad. Hysteria, for sure, the title track, and Love and Affection. There's probably another one I'm forgetting. Maybe I'm not. But anyways, Love and Affection, great. But I mean, like, first of all, I think the lyrics of When Love and Hate Collide are fantastic. Also, you're now getting into like later era Joe, where he was able to embrace. He did a thing that a lot of guys in his range didn't, where he started to embrace, like, it's okay to use falsetto in the studio because I'm not going to be 28 my whole life. And if you listen to the studio version of When Love and Hate Collide, the When One Night Alone, it's like a year without you. He's falsettoing in the studio instead of going in there and doing 100 takes. And no, going in there and doing 100 takes to get a perfect one. And then you go every single, oh man, I wish he would have done it. Like, he always falsettos it live. Nope. He went in studio and he was like, this is how I can sing now. You know what I mean? Just from a person who listens to music standpoint, I think that's a thing that is the reason why I would put it on the list. To my knowledge, it's the first Def Leppard hit I know of with like full on orchestrations in it, which shows more versatility than a lot of earlier Def Leppard stuff. And again, I think the lyric content, I mean, the lyrics are really good. It's also, I know Vivian was involved in the band before, and I have zero disrespect for Vivian. Steve's on the thumbnail because I just love Steve so much, and I know all of us miss him dearly. But this is one of the first things that I really think of when I think of Vivian, like with his. Oh yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's just all the way across the board. It's a good one for me. I was gonna try hard not to double back on any, and go off the same record, but I had to go back to Pyromania for Photograph. And again, I could have put something off of the first record on here.
High and Dry?
On Through the Night. High and Dry is the second one.
Sorry.
I could have put something off High and Dry, but Photograph to me is it's where they perfected what they did on the first two records. Like that first record's actually even got a little more punk to it, but they don't do a lot of that stuff later. And to me, the greater majority of their career sounds more like Photograph, which is why I settled on Photograph. Yeah. And I mean, you talk about making the blueprint, man. You get that album, and it's their third record, but you get that third record, man. In many ways, to me, Pyromania is the Slippery When Wet of their career. Like the first Joey record is good. You're like, oh, I kind of hear where Joey's going. Second one's, you're like, oh, yeah, okay, no, I get this more now. And then Slippery When Wet just says, I mean, just you name it, and the hits are on there. And it's funny because the first song, Let It Rock, on Slippery When Wet, is a jam. And as soon as that's over, it's like, we will now begin assaulting you with number one hits, you know. And if you get Pyromania, Rock Till You Drop is a jam. Same thing. I think it's got a big, huge keyboard intro. And all. It's been forever since I've listened to the record, but big, you know. And then when it gets done, definitely it's like, we hope you made room on the charts because we now have the rest of this record we're going to play for you, you know. And then the first thing you hear is Photograph. And I think it's insane that even with the imagery in the video, people don't understand what the song's about. But again, I think this is a thing that shows that Def Leppard can be deeper than just gibberish party lyrics. And even if you don't ever think about what the lyrics are about, that's okay too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just such a great cut. I mean, I don't know how you're that young and you write such perfect pop. I would unalive a man, YouTube standards, for anyone on earth to be able to write a song half as sketchy as this right now. You know, I think if you're a kid and you've never, or if you're a grown adult and you've never heard Def Leppard for whatever reason, and you play Photograph, there is no way you're not going to be like, please give me more of that music.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is why I have a fifth pick. And from the appropriately named album, in my opinion, now, Def Leppard had a song called Promises that, to me, if I were to play for you, if you've never heard Def Leppard before, and I played Photograph for you, and I said, and then 1,001 years later, they released a song called Promises, and I played it for you, I feel like you'd be like, that sounds exactly what I thought Def Leppard would sound like 1,000 years later, you know? And I mean that with every bit of reverence. Like,
well, I say that all the time about ours as a compliment. Like, this makes sense. This absolutely is what this band would be doing later. Like it's yes.
And I've labored this point so much on the show and probably more in our personal lives. It doesn't sound forced to me. It doesn't this song doesn't sound to me like they sat down. They were like, well, we better sound like Def Leppard or else people are going to get upset. Where, without naming names right now, a band I heavily referenced just a few moments ago does that constantly. They sit down constantly now and go, well, this better sound like, this era. And they even use the names of a certain couple in songs constantly to go, hey, remember that? Whereas I feel like Promises is Def Leppard going, no, we're those guys. Like, oh, did you need an awesome hooky medley and some great melody rather, and a great background vocals and some cool keyboard work and rock solid production? Because we're those guys, And again, and there's Joe, like, doesn't have to be screaming all over everything. He's like, I'm Joe. Like, this is how I like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I don't need to impress you. I'm Joe Elliott. Like, exactly. I'm going to do what I do on this track. And I think that's impressive too. Like if you listen to these, like at some point during Rock of Ages, he's going to hit some high note. And if you listen to Promises, you're going to be like, oh, he doesn't have it anymore. And then you're going to be like, yeah, because it's 25 years later or 35 years later, So I don't know. I just feel like if you can go a million ways with this and that's part of it, like don't spoil it now. Cause sometimes we revisit this where like you will come back and be like, you know what, here's the ones I would do. But we definitely want to hear from you. Like, and please, I hope people listen to this discussion stuff. Like, don't come here and just be like, like, oh, well, those aren't my picks. And then just leave. Like, I hope if you're a Def Leppard fan, like we're not talking to hear ourselves talk. Like we're talking so that you hear us talk. Like, and I really do want to hear what you think about like anything that we had to say about this stuff. So if you would please, drop a like on the video, if nothing else, but drop your comment more than anything. Just be like, hey, I totally agree with that. Or, if you disagree with it, that's cool. Just, you don't have to be like, oh, you're the worst, but like, at least be like, oh, hey, here's why I disagree with that. Here's what I would have picked. That's what I love. It doesn't have to be hits either. I find myself, I sometimes go with hits, but that's because it's kind of like, well, that's kind of proven formula. So it's been proven that people love this. So you know what I mean? But please do, if you're a Def Leppard fan, please by all means interact with us. We would love that. If you can share it out on your socials, like if you know other Def Leppard fans, and if you're on planet Earth, the chances are you know another Def Leppard fan. That would help us out a great deal as well. If you would do any of those things, that'd be awesome. If not, that's Lauren. My name is Russ. Thanks for watching.